guys, good morning. What is up? It is your girl Ginger Fox here, and we are gonna get into some more the letter. I'm gonna be a little bit quiet because people are still in bed. So yeah. Let's continue. Sleep will be elusive tonight. October 28th, Friday. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him his mobile is a bust, and it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today of all days is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. The morning in Sunskin was a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed this week. Well, I took a break from my responsibilities. But it's okay, cute. I hit the like button. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. I haven't a faint clue where Luke was yesterday. Today's going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now. Absent once again from his duties. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Every person of importance from Luxborn is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. New Year, Ginger, oh hell yeah, New Year 2025. Of course, there will be some people from the media along with friends and acquaintances who are made no less important regardless of their status in society. Mary Ann and I discussed business and last-minute touches. What's up, OBI Gamer? To the house before finalizing everything. Not that there's much for our original plan. OBI, would there any huge addition to the property itself? The mansion nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. In the end, he had to acquiesce. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought the wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we had little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. We absolutely had to. We asked Keith to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay in the bedroom in the opposite wing and still up to the task. What's up, OBI? Much appreciated. How you doing?
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
No, I do agree to have him having a hilly pad.
All right, then. Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
I'm doing, and what about you, Ginger? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his requests right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
I'm doing good. What about you, KQ? Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where?
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point it obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I've already gotten used to him. I should be by now. still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain to Link about how unfair this is. However, airing a one-third launcher is simply taboo among Han society. To do so well might make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, a lot of them really. Or most of them at least. There are always good ones like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Link's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting. He's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash and a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. I thought myself clever with the plan of just about a gossip. Marianne's raised brow made me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although it does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to idolize whatever I might say.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband, but it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it.
Real talk, ask for Marianne's honest advice about marriage, okay?
I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee, while staring into my own cup of tea. The silence stretches out, and I don't believe that she would never answer my question. Suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I'd love to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. To get to the heart of the matter, suppose I'm not as clever as I like to think. Is it really that bad? Then it's so I can see our little material troubles. Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? Put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hasn't always been an act. Marianne is more keen than the average person, of course. Your channel of monetized or not, Ginger? I don't know. I had something pop up when I was in my community tab saying that I have a lot of attraction, that if I wanted to basically it was saying you can have someone go on your channel to create more or something like that. But I don't know if I'm per se monetized or not. I would probably say no, but I'm not really sure. Even if I was, though, it's not really a matter for me, because I don't really do this to get money. I just mainly does gaming and streaming because I enjoy it. That's the only reason why I does it. I just like to talk to people too. That's really my goal. I don't have, other than that, I have nothing really for that. I just like doing what I'm doing. I like talking to people on here and meeting new people. That's really my goal for that. As a necessity words to her career, she's been working so closely with us. Yes, that's
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Nothing as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives, but it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
She throws off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There is a calm dispute the nature of what had just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. To say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrate their core anniversary before they pass away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what a relationship can bring us. Our relationship can bring us, sorry. And at the same time, 7 years. Well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to, anyway. I'm just okay, this is my opinion on marriage. If you're not happy with somebody, don't be with them. There's no point of being in a relationship if you're not happy and wasting your time on the wrong person. It's just my opinion. If you'd rather be single, go for it. Whatever makes you happy, go for it. But I don't think it's the right idea to stay with somebody if you're depressed with them or whatever. It's good thought that it might last for a very long time. I could have thought that these small spats, these little disagreements, will turn to all our resentment. The idea that we'll grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We're getting through this, right? We can get through this, right? I know that I still do love him, and I feel that there is still a part of him that loves me in return. We just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Surely he will see some sense. There is a cough before Marianne clears her throat. Must have been quiet for so long, and I moved to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure of how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs if we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive, because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
The scene outside the parlor is a great, organized mess. Aside from our own household trip, we hired the servers of the temp agency which provides staff for Wright Enterprise in the hospitality sector. Hold on, I'm curious. Okay, what we got for relationship? Ashton. Aside from our own household help, we hired the servers of the temp agency which provides staff for Wright Enterprise in the hospitality sector. I'll put this online. Over and our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Walters, busboys, hostess, and their staff captains move about in groves, carrying crockery and serveware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. Pre-use the stock to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, turning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Floor decor where thousands vases, rest in baskets, while petals are gathered along the driveway out front. Ooh, that's beautiful. I sculpture a reindeer brought in carefully by a pair. That's beautiful. It is followed by a simple cake. It's a 5-tier white chiffon one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. But despite the fact that I told Mary Ann how I will attend to all of this, I found myself unable to focus or care for any of it. I still have a discussion running in my head and looking at all of this. I only see Luke everywhere. Those are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a select few invited, namely, the people who I actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to catering them.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
The entire thing screamed Luke Bright. I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me because my father owned the company. I insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. Days for the calculations. There was a calculation on financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, and public relations, supervision of staffing. Well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth carving for my parents' approval. No, craving? Yeah, craving. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it was all. And Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He made me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some dance on the dress or some prize to be won. I remember the night before we were married, where we talked about everything and anything, from big things like business, society, and philosophy, to little things such as what we have for breakfast or whether we like cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? He told me that husbands preferred wives who are docile and subordinate. A woman who will always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children and to take care of them in his absence. They said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society, but I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my
The
attention.
guests have arrived, madam.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors, then. We mustn't tarry.
Cars line up the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tours, supercars, even the odd high and muscle car or two. Convertible grand saloons and other luxury cars can be seen being parked by valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 different media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxbourne. So far, who knows what we'll plan for the winter holiday.
Welcome everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warmth, if not extreme sunshine we are experiencing, before gloomy skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, other less so. From where I stand, I can see their heart's real power, the ties that bind these individuals here, whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also few who are not here to further cement their current place in high society, such as that young man was his oriental heir, ignorant of the looks he received from women and men alike.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Or that rose hair woman talking on her phone, while she looks unsure why she's here exactly. Oh, Mom.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
See Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few of the other media crew with an air of familiarity. What's up, Mike?
I was just here a few days ago, yeah. And the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
And then there are people like Chief Inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People standing at the border between being suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing?
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again?
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies.
What's up, Red Hood?
It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
Not that good, Kinshpasm, but anyway, Happy New Year, and someone gets to record my own sound in someone else's life. Do what you gotta do, man. Hope everything gets better.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal, you've hidden his body. I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Happy New Year's, guys.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead. The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out. Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
I mentioned how I don't trust him no matter how hard I try to do so. At least he brought a gift, I suppose.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry one on and the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I've other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. Make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have them genuinely enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, and the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I am pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. They don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. People kiss to marry her off, but she wants nothing more but to make music. one of our hotel managers worried about the stolen belongings of one of the patrons. A failing security which should be brought up to higher authority soon. Our mayor? Well, his cat died. Then there's this Rose-haired woman once again. It's hard not to notice her with her distinctive look, sir. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stand in the air chic suits instead are strong, sir. And they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her own attention, with the glances she keeps sending toward the boys with their oriental hair. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it is a wonder he didn't hear what I
Who,
said.
Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down his offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend, then? Because that would explain those rejections.
In all my life, I had never seen a face go red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This isn't the most pink I've seen on a person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. What the fuck? Dude, why is she twitching like that? My attention is pulled from the girl, and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty. She looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call security at her when her mouth breaks out into a grin. All I hear is her laughing, taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I am nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. Makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then in a blink she's gone and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but... Are you alright?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
Your name is familiar, like a fond memory. Made no friend at the housewarming party. Oh, she's no friend? Recall a con lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. Oh, that's her. She even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stories, which I honestly haven't been too keen on about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A. What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more Lithoff names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. First I triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I haven't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone within earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
A tad bit sad.
So, this is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta.
Depends on how you look at it, I guess.
I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it. But what do I know?
There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually. But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense. I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans.
Right.
It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress? Or the pink blouse and petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all that years later, talking with boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment as I mulled over what she just said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There is no time to ponder over that. However, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd, the music of strings and the chatter slow to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago, and anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So there can only be one person, or rather one man. There is only one man who is adequate enough to arrive at his own party.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party. I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the Wright Mansion.
Like I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to his presence, he sought it every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the many channels of showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light out as he speaks, how they listen, enraptured, even if always doing is simply greeting. There's a wave of his hands here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he is not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I keep myself from Becky's side and make my way to Luke's.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
There was a round of applause, cheers, and even some heats. Guests approached us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she's dangerously close, with fear in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. But there's little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. Although it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of water in her hand. Oh no. How much is she and Bibbidi?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbing her fingers in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even if whispers and murmurs break out amongst the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol in her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I'm absolutely pissed by the fact that she's endangered her own baby by drinking. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her to get to the side. I keep a patient and tight smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indesirable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask that exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Huh?
You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens!
Excuse me? What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard.
Oh.
You promised me you'll take responsibility. God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
Bro. It's now Joanne's returns for security, along with the concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
There's really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Yes, that's right. There's no way that Rochelle says it's the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I don't know, man. Your husband could be a cheater. I know Luke. If such a scandalous meeting are to be arranged, he won't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. And he definitely won't promise the possibility of a child unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke would never go as far as to sleep with another woman, right? Okay, fine. Who am I kidding? If I am to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. And doesn't that just make my blood boil? To even think of the slightest possibility of infidelity. Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke was still acting like some young hotshot bachelor. Perhaps a break is needed. It starts to make me think. I don't know. What do you do in this situation? A break isn't a bad idea, but I think a break might be a good idea. Maybe Mary Ann has a point. If I am frustrated, if I am unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Sometime apart might guess what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads and to think of for ourselves, or for myself to be exact. Because looking at this mess before he just brings me nothing but distress. I feel a bit nauseous actually, now that I think about it. Luke's too busy making a scene to notice, and a concerned Becky pulls me to the side. She looks as disturbed as I am by the sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it at any rate. Not surprising, as her parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey! I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there. Do we need to call a doctor or something?
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway. Just... Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other.
Becca! This is a real oh, hey, Miss Wright.
If I am to assign a random number to dedicate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I say the odds are 1 out of 1,000. And if this is any other situation, I would have been suspicious. It isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers who I met on separate occasions to know each other, and what will be complete random happenstance. Just that it's been faked before, to try and dupe me because of who I am and who I'm married to. Right now, coincidence or not, I'm just grateful for the help. As long as it doesn't turn to a kidnapping anyway.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did. So this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hannah out of here?
Can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
Make quick work of getting us through the crowd. People part because of Zach's broad build, even if they want to approach me. If that isn't enough, Becky's point glares keep them at bay. We can even make it out of the ballroom without an untoward incident. Though, judging by the commotion in the other room, the same cannot be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need the fresh air. I need to be away from those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is a great start as in.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of going back into the ballroom. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realized I am gone by now. And those busy bodies will be gossiping about how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what just transpired, stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by their night's end. It all matters very little in the grand scheme of things, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fry. To leave me with...
Zachary?
Yeah, you need something?
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
Oh, okay.
could see the tension in the long of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is when this isn't our first meeting. We had met on professional terms, certainly, but I like to think I was friendly. Nonetheless, I did not push the issue about the apparent discomfort when we were left alone. Not right away, at any rate. I know my curiosity would get the better of me. Before I could say anything, however, he speaks
You
up.
okay there, Hana? I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible. But you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Oh, yeah. I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room. Or handling intense drama, you know? Sorry about my clothes. Didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this. I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right? I get to pick the food, too. Of course, I make most of them myself. There's usually a dozen people or less, and all we really do is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, you sure you're all right? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
You can scream merde if you want. I won't snitch.
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and ugh! You know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties. Karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance. Not that I can. But there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or that's what they tell me, at least. I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
How should I respond? Prove it. At least you can cook.
At least you can cook. Allegedly. You still bring no proof.
This party ain't exactly a potluck, is it?
True, true. Perhaps you can invite me to one of your simple parties. I will bring the cake.
Yeah, why not? But with a cake that big, like at your housewarming party, we'll be eating frosting for weeks. Maybe make it a little simpler and it's a deal.
Simple would be nice.
October 29th, Saturday. What this scene can be said about what I'm about to do. Simple isn't the adjective I will use to describe the task at hand. Because really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate and say that, no, this is not a divorce? Not yet, at least. The possibility is there. But still, how am I even to explain that to Luke without him throwing a fit? Cutting too deeply into my sausages, I can open my mouth to keep myself. That is until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a plump child. He has been silent all the while, chin in his hand and elbow resting on the table. I worry that my absence after the debacle may have caused more harm than good.
Luke, I think we need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure whether I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep
It's
talking.
not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while. In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime, but I won't be moving out right away, so that I can help settle everything here. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway. Then I'll stay here instead.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
This is supposed to be this easy, is it? Can you really react to so low?
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This isn't about that, Hana. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food, choosing instead to push the plate
What's
aside.
wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in the chair and just stops short of putting his feet out on the table. Speck is wanting some wine by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent in his
Aside
hand.
from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen. Will you want me to start on the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary. Are you really having a sulk because of what she said yesterday?
I am having a sulk because you believe her. You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up? Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
Not what I'm saying.
Do you
okay?
think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell right? Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes her whole statement laughable.
Sure, whatever you say.
His mouth draws into a thin line, and I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows feels oppressive. It only emphasizes the wall that has been built up by my obedience and his hubris, and it looms between us, keeping
When
us
are you
apart.
leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps? I'll go and inform the staff of this.
He only nods. I'd be lying if I said that didn't disappoint me. I expected more resistance. The man could be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now just to spite him. That isn't like me. Even if this does end in a divorce, I think we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on amicable terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here?
Fuck
Just
you, bitch.
leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you?
Fuck you, asshole.
Go ahead. I won't stop you.
Fuck that dude. Go ahead and do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take responsibilities for something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by someone hired specifically for that job, with Johannes overseeing the staff and Luke handling everything else as a whole. It doesn't leave much for me. I can't even take the job of delegation, because all it takes is a word to one of the senior staff, and everything will be taken care of for me. Moving in here a few days ago may have very well been the chore that took the most effort from me. And that didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hana, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
There are no dishes to set aside and busy myself with. Any mess left behind is now nearly non-existent. To sit on a counter while eating cake is supposed to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off, and I don't really know what brought me to the kitchens in the first place. It's not like I'm craving anything else, nor do I have any unfinished business left here. But there's a calling to this room. Speaking of calling, why not just do that? Why not do just that, sorry. Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least that will require some effort on my part. Without cut off from the rest of Liberon, the mansion is. With how long it was abandoned before we moved in, having a landline is one of the questions. The solution is supposed to be our mobiles, though it isn't much considering how spotty the signal is in the area. We're taking a bit of maneuvering to get even a single bar as it is. It takes a bit, as I said it would. I have to park my rear on one of the cold drawers, but that suits me just fine. Another matter that needs my effort is who to call. She who must not be named is certainly off the list. doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with the category of who else is awake at this early hour. But soon enough, I managed in the cargo stream.
Hello, Rebecca Gales here. Who's this?
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh, wait, how did you get my number?
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime. Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff.
SW.
Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving?
Oh, of course, of course. I shouldn't keep you. But I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
I was hoping you could thank Zachary on my behalf as well. He was really kind and wonderful.
Well, you can tell him that yourself if you want. I can give you his number.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. Intruding on his privacy.
Pretty sure he'd be fine with it. If you two on a first-name basis and all. So, his number, right, it's...
Call starts to go static, much to my frustration. A strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words too. I can barely understand what she's saying. The line completely dies. I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up, starting from a light dropping on one side of my head. The static is gone and that helps a lot. But there is still that insistent core clicking. Again and again and again. Which doesn't make sense. The mobile is turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Looking about, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to that hatch leading into the wine cellar once more. That's when the clicking stops and I can hear that crying, that familiar crying from before. What happened the other day, which I was told that nobody should have been down there. Just forget it, because of how it unsettled me so. One can hardly do that when I'm looking at the very thing I'm trying to forget. Somebody's crying down there again. If I leave it alone, it certainly won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. I may have forgotten to lock it with the party going
This
on.
again? If somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy.
Don't look. True enough, all it takes is a bit of a pull to open the hatch. So I look down in the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. The cries drown beneath the shrieks that start echoing in my head, high and shrill like nails being dragged across a chalkboard. They're all screaming and shouting at me. I can just feel her rage. Help me. She wants to drown me, drag me down, and crush me in the very depths of darkness, till there is nothing left for me. The deep abyss waits for me. For my death. They're all calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck, and I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. And they're still screaming. I'm screaming. Though it's not my voice that escapes my lips. The claws stray, climbing up and forcing its way up what must felt like paper bile. I choke and gag, yet I scream and shriek all at the same time. And not me, but not me. Dude! What? What? Screaming stops and dies down. It's a moment of reprieve, and I want to believe that I'm fully safe, but it's quiet. Totally quiet. Wait, hold on. Try again. Huh? Oh. Huh? You're a troll. Try again. Damn it. Bruh. What do you want me to do, whore? Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Pushing me down to my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. It makes me tumble. I can just feel my whole body seizing, rotting on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death. And if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I actually...
Hana? Hana, what is going on in here? Why are you?
Prince!
Seeing Luke, something snacks back, and then able to take a gasp of air on my own volition for the first time in what felt like centuries. I would have rejoined and cried for his name if the pain still did not rack my body. Instead, all I can do is stare listlessly as he comes to my side and lifts me up, cradling me in his arms. Resist the mansion's influence. Okay? He tries to get me to my feet, perhaps to take me out of here, and all he's able to do is get me to sit, make sure I'm not trashing on the room. I can still feel my muscles spasms, limbs jerking like a puppet on a string. Luke holds me tight, keeps me still, so that I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened, it has my mind frayed and battered. Eventually the pain dies down into a dull ache, and my own tongue stops feeling like cotton. It's only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaking down my face. A coughing wrecks my body now that I don't feel like choking. And it just all feels so horrible. But I don't care. I don't care.
Please!
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Shh, it's alright. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
Zachary. The pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint but light and warm, a reminder what home is. Pa's stern but commanding gaze, Ma's tender smiles, the sunlight filtering through the eaves in the morning. And the distant smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room, our room, me and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too eventually. But we aren't allowed there. Not yet. Not until we're taller or older. Not until we learn how to take care of ourselves and not burn our hands or reach the cupboards without having to be lifted.
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
Floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is. The walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. My singing ceases and
No, please wait. I'll be good. I'll sleep on time. Don't go.
Can't hear Pa. Not above the red just clang and the deafening war gunshots. No other screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. Oh my God. There's only the blinding fear. When my foot slips, the red sea that catches me is bitter and fragile. But the blood that drips in my hand is warm, warm, warm. It ain't my blood. The walls tumble and everything goes quiet. It's just a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the relative darkness on the other room. Despite the pleasant chill the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blanket a tangled mess around my throat. Morning has not even arrived, and yet...
Way too early for this thing, man.
Too long. Too long since the last I've woken up, drinks in my own sweat, head littered with thoughts that had gone. As soon as my eyes open, all too often only imprints and brief images are left to haunt me for the rest of the day, or until my mind forgets about it. Again, whichever comes first. Yet, vivid or not, what little I can remember does not matter. Regardless, the desperation sticks, clawing out, pushing, urging me to relieve every moment, every sensation. There's a twinkle in Mom's eyes when she looked up from her work, flour dusting her nose and cheeks. The scent of freshly baked bread wafts from the oven as soon as Pa opens it, and the homely fragrance of honey fills the room. She reaches out to wipe small beads of sweat away from his forehead before gesturing for me to come closer the moment he spots me in my little hiding place behind the door. Expecting him to be angry, but his pat on my back when I come within his arm's reach is encouraging enough. We'll have to taste these before we put it up for sale tomorrow. You up for it, little man? Is it good enough? A knot cuts through the air before I can answer. Sharp, heavy, demanding, familiar. So distantly familiar. Ma ushers me out of the kitchen when Pa moves to answer it. But I know what awaits outside. The taste of blood in my mouth, such an unpleasant churning in my gut. Ma... Ma's aching crinkles under my tight grip. Something snaps back into place. My bed remains in utter disarray. The walls still need a new paint job. And the wall clock ticking opposite my bed is as unsettling as ever. Ash is right. I should have already replaced that when I had the chance.
You're no longer there, Zachary. Here and there are miles apart. Calm down. Breathe.
Pushing my own fingers against my temple is a welcome sensation over the anxiety gripping me. Never really did anything to stab off the headache sure to follow after this before, but it grounds me. A little reminder that I am safe, away from the place I once called home for Mom and Pa's. The urgency was every rap that follows finally chases away the ghost threatening to hang around. Why anyone thinks it's a good idea to knock at someone else's door this late confuses me. Nanny would chase them all away with a broom if she was here. But no matter, it's a welcome break from the thought about to take a morbid turn if I left festering. I'll probably get to Ash anyway, looking for a place to crash. Wonders why he bothered with the courtesy when he never did so before. It must have hunch, though. Habit compels me to check who it is first through the peephole. But I say sorry to say. Except the person that greets me on the other side ain't him. Unless his hair grew longer overnight and he started wearing a ponytail, of course, which I hardly do will happen anytime soon, no matter how funny that looks in my head. Waste no time opening the latch.
Isabella, it's late.
Oh, it's Isabella. Lily friends stay over for the night. There's something I can't quite pinpoint in her eyes when she looks up. Her face a pallid shade, shoulders tense, breathing heavy, and uncomfortable shaking in her hands she's trying to hold back. Hide if I didn't know any better.
Hey, Zach. Sorry, I know it's weird for me to show up at this hour, but you were the closest to my office, and...
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm not really working on anything right now.
What's that, Ronald?
Do you want to come in?
Is it all right? I know you should be sleeping at this hour, but I thought... I'm sorry, I just thought... I have no idea why I went here. My feet just moved on their own after I got out of the office, and... Sorry.
She trails off, her voice lost in the mucky night air. I wait for her to say more, but instead, her only response is the downward shift of her gaze back to her still trembling hands. A sense of emotion alone is enough of an explanation. Musical gesture. Easy to miss if one is not paying attention. But for someone who has seen the same expression on the mirror, done the same thing too many times when night terrors are inevitable at this point.
Hey, don't worry about it. At least you not. Ash just barges in and crashes on the couch whenever he feels like it. I swear that guy is one fine hairline away from being a criminal. Besides, you already know you can count on me whenever.
Still waiting for her answer, I step away from the door and saunter over the kitchenette. For a few good seconds, only the clanking of the plate can be heard above the constant tick-tock, Late as it may be for a snack, that familiar emotion kept me occupied, stirring my mind away from dangerous thoughts. Sibel's company is not unwelcome either. Whatever her reasons for showing up here at such an hour doesn't matter. I'll be damned if I can turn her away, frazzled as she is. The door clicks shut behind her when she finally enters, feet scuffling softly against the tile floor. In all the years I've known her, she had never once lost her ever upbeat spirit. Yet in this particular moment, as she stands in my doorway, holding her arms close to herself, it's as if I'm looking at someone completely withdrawn from the person I come to know in all these years.
Do you want to drink or eat anything? I haven't restocked my food stash yet, so ingredients may be a bit limited. But I'm sure I can whip something up with what I have here.
Just water will do, please. Thanks, Zach.
What? No additional food requests? That's new. I'll put something together for you anyway. And feel free to make yourself at home. You ain't exactly a new visitor here. Although my room's not at its most presentable right now. Sorry. New freelance gigs and such. Didn't have time to fix things up here lately.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Usually she has something more to say about it. It would even remark to provoke laughter or two. Nothing from her this time. Only a weak smile before she takes a seat on the couch, and a silence that stretches out until what we left hanging feels disconcerting. Before everything turns stifling and awkward, I continue talking, if only to keep the dead air at bay. How's one supposed to keep a conversation going when the person you're talking to is like this?
Anyway, gigs. Can you believe this one client we got? Boss had all my schedule shoots shifted after they caught wind of this couple buying a new property. Man, must be nice to have all the money in the world. The world itself moves for you, huh?
She curled up on one side of the couch and hugging her knees close when I bring the tray carrying the sandwiches and the water she requested. She starts to straighten up as I'm unloading the contents. Pauses as soon as I hold up my hand in that halting gesture.
You're a guest. Didn't I say you're free to make yourself at home? Here's your water. Careful.
Trimmer in her hand, though lighter now, still hasn't subsided when she reaches out for the glass. I give her a questioning look, but she is quick to avert her eyes, keeping herself occupied with taking a small gulp of water. Maybe she just doesn't want me asking questions. Worrying. This sudden loss of words, this about quiet not normally present in our chats. Even the creaking of the old chair when I usually take the seat is a welcome break. Although the company is familiar, this has gone way past me.
What happened? Overtime at work?
She doesn't answer immediately. Another gulp drains her glass of its remaining contents. One would think will be enough to help her recover, yet she doesn't lose her taut grip on the glass as she cradles it on her lap. Her eyes take an unfocused gaze when she speaks again.
Yeah. Boss handed me extra work today. After what happened to Rose.
Rose? Why do I feel like you've mentioned her before? Sorry, I'm better with remembering faces than names.
She was my coworker. That will take some getting used to. I was just talking to her the other day.
Was? Did she resign or something? I think I'm missing a few details here, Bella.
You've never met her. I think I did mention her once or twice. It doesn't matter. You probably heard her name recently from the news than me.
Something clicks in. A little memory from the night before. The bright red light from the dark room, the strong odor of the stop bath, television, barely audible murmur in the background, and a glimpse of a bloody room. The news is everywhere, even the morning that follows. I just didn't think the effects will strike at someone this close to me.
Oh. Damn. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, like I said, it'll take some getting used to, but it'll get better. I hope it will. Things might become a little busier for me, though. She left a lot of things unfinished, and I'm one of the few people in the office who knows how she works. Boss thinks the transition will be easier if I handle it.
That explains it. Well, just don't forget you still need rest. Even the most hard-working people I know don't keep hours as late as this. Hell, the subway stopped running hours ago. Crime rate might be lower here than most places, but that doesn't mean you can walk around freely in the middle of the night.
It's just for today.
Still a good thing you dropped by here first. I'm not just about to let you walk out here alone, especially not in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could happen? I'm not saying you should go right now, but I could accompany you home if you...
No! Wait, please!
Vigilant tension in her voice makes me pause, and it is in this instant the mask she's been keeping up falls apart. Only for a short while. Right then and there I understood what's hiding behind her unfocused stare from the moment she arrived. Fear. Pure, unadulterated fear. Disturbing to see such marrying her usual upbeat countenance. With a sigh, I cross the small distance separating us and kneel in front of her. She doesn't flinch when I do so. However, the way she appears to make herself smaller because against the chaos is telling enough.
Bella, this ain't just about your co-worker, is it? What is it really about? I'm all ears.
Sonic glass shattering rents through the air as soon as her hold on it loosens. In the span of a few seconds, her breathing grows labored.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
She claps her hands over her ears, pressing it tightly against the side of her head. Her voice grows weaker with each word, each plea coming out of her mouth.
Please don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone right now. I can't shake it off. Everywhere's not safe and...
Alright, Isabella. Look at me. Look at me.
My hands are firm on her shoulder when I pull her up to look at me. It takes every force or a will to ignore the tear in her eyes in favor of taking control of the situation. Too close, too similar.
Breathe. You're safe here. Inhale, hold, exhale. Stay in the present. I'm here. No one's gonna hurt you. Do you want to talk about it?
The force with which she shakes her head is enough reason to drop the topic altogether.
No more. Please. No more. I don't want to remember anymore.
Kate, no more talking. I won't ask any more. Can I get you anything? Another glass of water? I think I have a tub of that pistachio ice cream you love so much. We're gonna have to clean this mess first. Will you be fine on your own for a little while?
She nods lightly before retreating into herself again. No more words are exchanged after that. I take that as my cue and start cleaning the shards littering the floor before either one of us get hurt. The quiet hum of the AC is a pleasant distraction as I go over the clinical tasks. More so than her ragged draws of breath or my little feeble attempts to tell a quick story or two. But the latter does the trick, and soon enough she has already drifted off by the time I return with the promised glass of water, her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm, the grin on her shoulders gone. Frankly, I've never seen her this still. She mumbles something I don't quite catch when I carry her to the empty bed and hugs herself tighter against the mess of blankets. In spite of the fact that she appears relaxed, the small frown on her face hasn't quite disappeared. Whatever happened to her won't be leaving her anytime soon. But for her sake, I hope it won't stay along with her. Because no matter what promises I made, this is the kind of fear no person could shield her from, I should know. There are still questions left to be unanswered. But the late hour, coupled with a sudden exhaustion, made my old couch a more comfortable bed than it typically is. Darkness immediately welcomes me as soon as my head hits my makeshift pillow. I can only wish the dreams will keep at a distance for now. For both of us. October 25th, Tuesday. The first few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. In the end, it became one of those nights when sleep passes like a blink and is plagued with vague, fuzzy thoughts. I lift my hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritting, burning sensation from my eyelids. It is sad the sun has yet to peek over the horizon, but night has already given way to the cold morning light, washing everything in subtle grey hues. At this hour the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button, twice or thrice, just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But the persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Quickly, I scramble for the bag sitting at the foot of my bed. The ringing still hasn't stopped, even if I fish the phone out, and that name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn it on. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call
Took
yet.
you long enough, Z-Man.
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. Stop calling me Z-Man.
It's 20 past 6, Zach.
You're one to talk. Give me back my 5 extra minutes, Ash. I want my sleep.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I can be a more person too if I want to.
What's this all really about? You don't usually make calls around this hour. Is the world ending today?
Sorry about that. Becca rang me up a few minutes ago looking for Isabella. Said she didn't show up in her own apartment last night. We both tried calling, but her phone seems to be off. Do you have any idea where...
I should have known you two would come looking for her first thing in the morning.
Not a laughing matter, Zach. You can't really let your guard down with everything that's happened here recently. You've heard about the Cooper wound from the news. Everyone in the precinct has been restless ever since the incident the other day.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Listen, Ash, about Bella.
When my voice tore off, unsure of how to go about recounting last night. If I should even say anything to him. He might be a close friend, but at the end of the day, whatever's bothering her ain't mine to speak of in the first place. On the bed, Isabella remains as still as when I transferred her the night before. Something during her sleep, she pulls out a blanket over herself and tucked into it comfortably, like this is easy to forget the horror in her eyes, or how much her hands and lips trembled. Save for her firm grip on the edge of the covers, she appears nearly as normal as she would have any other day. Almost.
I'm not really sure how to go about this while being...
Zach, what about her?
Something the word of concern must have surfaced in my tone, because his own shifts in, carefully, as if he's preparing for the
Look,
worst.
you don't have to worry about her. She's with me right now. Since last night, in fact.
Oh, why didn't you just say so earlier?
She kinda knocked in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly wake you two over that. And with how things are when she arrived, I thought it'd be best if I let her rest first. I just wasn't expecting people would be looking for her before the rooster even crows.
You could have at least called her something. Becca's beside herself with worry when she found out. You know how much she frets about the smallest stuff.
I know. I'm sorry. That was a lapse on my part. And I just didn't... Okay, you know what? Rebecca's worries ain't completely baseless. Isabella hasn't been her usual self since the movie. Maybe even before that. I don't know if I should be opening my mouth about this, but Bella didn't outright say I shouldn't, so...
So something's wrong then?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I couldn't get the story out of her.
Really? I thought you'd learned something from me by now.
That's not it. Ash, when she appeared at my doorstep last night, she was shaking, and when I tried to ask her about it, she just panicked. Had this frightened look on her face. I'd be surprised if this was the first time I've seen it, but it ain't. Dude, the first time, she was screaming.
Happy New Year, Boo. What's up, Kayla Boo? How you doing?
First time? When was this? You weren't talking about the thing in the movie house, are you? Because that was just us fooling around. Granted, I think I went overboard with the joke, but...
No, it happened the day after. When she invited us to lunch, you weren't there. We were walking one second, and then the next, she's crying out. I'll be straight with you. That scared me shitless.
It bothered him if the way he falls silent after telling. Whatever his opinion is stays absent from his voice when he speaks again. He's always been good with that, hiding what he thinks.
Did she say anything else?
Nothing. Won't tell me anything aside from a few vague words. I didn't want to push it.
Where is she? Is she still sleeping?
Right here with me, still sleeping. Should I wake her up or something? Let her know you guys are looking for her?
No need. Let her rest. I'll drop by in a few.
Today? Don't you have work at this time? I mean, I can drop her off home myself before meeting my client later.
Look who's talking.
My schedule's flexible, Ash. Last time I checked, you're the one who didn't have that luxury. How on earth do you think I'm able to tag along when you need me?
It's not completely out of the way.
They live on the other side of the town from you, Ash. Your definition of out of the way is a little screwed up, you know.
It's fine. I have some things I need to do anyway. I'll call you back. I've got to let Becca know that Scared Cat's fine.
Dropped the call before I could even get a word in, and several minutes after, I found myself sitting listening at the rest of the burning roses. The increasing sound of passing traffic, the bustle of the nearby shops, preparing for the day, and the growing clamor of the people while they go about their morning. Not the most soothing sound to hear following a troubled night, but the routine puts me at ease nevertheless. Less comforting, but safe, what I'm used to. Nearby, Isabella shifts but doesn't wake, blissfully unaware as the city slowly stirs itself back to life. Was her night as restless as the one I had, or her dreams as lucid? In hushed moments like this, I envy her. Unreasonable, probably a little unfair to say such in light of last night. But only forgetting it is as easy as breathing. Bionic gates me when I rise from the cave's stretch. Luckily, the short conversation was effectively driven away any will to go back to sleep. Back to bed, sorry. I still have a day to get through despite the portable ghosts hanging around. The orange bottle sitting at the edge of my table is reassuring against my palm the instant I pick it up. The exterior order of the capsules is equally so. Yet the weight they carry is something I've never gotten used to. Years ago, I spent minutes, heck, even hours staring at a single pill prior to taking one in. Now it's just routine, a way to drive off the unwanted nightly visits. Although I don't think Dr. Nero will be quite pleased if he ever finds out I'm relying on them again. I do owe him a visit regardless, especially after missing our appointments on purpose and ignoring his calls for weeks. Another sigh comes out, tired and weary. Then I pop the tablet into my mouth.
Zach? What time is it?
The bottom of my hand hits the table with more force necessary. As much as I trust my friends, there are some things I'd rather keep to myself.
Morning, Bella. Did you sleep well?
She asked the question with a long, drawn-out yawn, but I'm restless of the couch. Took a minute to come out of my mouth at the sight. And in this manner, it's easy to mistake her for someone too young for responsibilities. In this manner, it's easy to oh, okay. Experience and immature even. Easy to forget she was thrust into the role of an adult earlier than her own dream can afford, to overlook how surprisingly observant she can be at times. May not on the level Ash exercises for his investigations, Rebecca needs her for her own work. But certainly enough to fatally put what she sees around her on canvas. And if the way her eyes flickers to the table and my hands say something, it is that I won't be able to avoid the questions this time.
Only a little. I don't remember how I ended up on the bed, though.
My doing. You didn't look very comfortable sleeping on the couch, all hunched up like that.
It would have been enough for something temporary. Sorry I stole your bed.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Besides, what kind of gentleman would I be if I leave a lady sleeping in such uncomfortable conditions? Not in this house. My nana will give me a tough scolding if I ever did that, I'm telling you.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I know I barged in at a very inconvenient time last night. I wasn't really thinking when I did, and...
Hey, it's cool, Bella. I ain't mad at you. That's what friends do. You guys are welcome here anytime. Although Ashton abuses the anytime part a lot, I don't really mind. We might have less wiggle room if all four of us are present, considering the size of this place. But as long as no one makes anything explode, it's totally fine.
Fine or not, I still owe you one for last night's trouble, especially since you don't seem to be...
Concerned expression passes over her features as she bears near cursive glance over the table, back to the bottle holding every small piece of what keeps the bad memories at bay. The blood blooming overpowers her. The horrid look on Mama's face She watches him fall lifeless to the ground and never answer by seeping from the stranger's smile. You don't belong here. You monkeys don't belong here. Never stops, doesn't it?
Well, you don't seem to be feeling well. Let me know, okay? I'll make it up to you somehow.
She makes a slight gesture with her head towards the bottle, asking a question without really asking. Julie has never been one of her greatest assets, but right now, even Ash would have been a little amazed, if not at loss for words at that. She had left up to me whether I'll ever give her the response she wants to hear or not. A little clever coming from her, if anyone asks me. But it's never easy, ain't it? Talking about my own problems, that is. It will never be, not by a long shot. Not even I've let it stay this long for so long. I realized long ago when the wounds are still fresh and the dreams are in nightly occurrence. You can't force yourself to get better or move on to things better. It is what's normal now, I can only cope. Question is her eyes. Maybe a wounded born simple out of curiosity and sincere concern for a friend. I don't owe her an explanation, in fact. But of all the people I get close in my life, she's probably one of the very few who perhaps I can trust with this. Maybe she won't understand entirely. I can never hope she will. No, never to the full extent. That alone is expecting too much of her and giving too much of what I can. However, for all her shortcomings, I know she'll hear me. And that is all I can ask of her.
My bad. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't have seen me with these.
Feels rather lightly against the container when I gently set it back to its usual place. Always the small area closest to my laptop near the right hand. It's in reach whenever, and a quiet reminder of what I shouldn't miss every day.
What? Oh, is it bad? I was just thinking that maybe it's a cold like Becca's. Do you need me to get anything from the store? Soup or something? There's one nearby, right? I can run real quick and...
No, nothing of that sort. I'm perfectly healthy right now. It's really difficult to say, but... Can you promise me you'll listen at least?
What is this about, Zach?
I should have been upfront with you about this a long time ago. Well, Ashton found out without me telling him anything. But you already know how that guy is. Can't hide anything.
Okay, I'll have New Year.
If it's something you're having trouble saying, you don't have to force yourself to tell me. I'll forget I ever saw anything and won't ask questions. Promise.
No, I need to get this off my chest eventually. Besides, we're already here. Might as well finish what I started, yeah?
If you say so.
She takes a seat on the couch, her posture easy and open, and her smile honest. And if this is just a simple talk between two friends on a regular day, it is far from one, but her unreserved air is enough to stamp down the twinge of unease that threatens to come
Let's hear it then.
And she does. Feels like yesterday. Share a painful memory to her friend. True to her words, she listens while the story spills out of my mouth. Of my mom and pa, that little old diner across the pond, and what it left for me that day. I can't recall most of it now. My own account jacket with a few missing details here and there. The passing years have embroidered most of the recollection of the whole incident, all except for that one moment in the kitchen. The ring of gunshots are as vivid as it sounded that day. Even Miles' hysterical screams the moment Pa's body hit the floor motionless, his lifeblood flowing out from under him. And the gunman, he was smiling. He was smiling when Pa opened the door to welcome him. He was smiling when he put a bullet in Pa's chest and Miles' head. I've heard stories of how the world can be a cruel place for people like us before. I never believed until that moment.
Nan and Gran took us right after that. Sis and I flew straight to New Jersey as soon as they heard the news. A few days after, Mom and Pa were laid to rest. And we have a new home a continent away. I didn't even get the chance to take my favorite pillow with me. They said something about the change of environment will be good for us. They had no idea the different kind of ghosts would follow me here.
But the questions mostly those brimming with childlike curiosity, and maybe some that are a little too hard to answer. But to her credit, she just sat there and lent her ears and looked at me with no expectations or unnecessary judgment in her eyes. She appears wiser and older like this, easier to see the breadwinner in her. Her younger siblings are lucky to have her. When I'm done, after everything has been said, she wraps her arms around me. A bit awkward considering the gap in our heights, but it gets her sentiment across. But it's difficult to answer this in kind. If I am supposed to reciprocate gesture given my earlier apprehension. She pulls away shortly with a smile on her face. Not the reaction I braced myself for, but it is obviously better than what I imagined.
Are you not gonna say anything?
Am I supposed to say anything after? Like, apologize or something? I don't think that's very appropriate, but if you want to hear one, I can think of something real quick.
Not really. Other people have something to say after usually. And they're not necessarily nice either.
Oh? Okay then. I won't. I can't think of something anyway. Sorry. I'm not very good with this. Who else knows, by the way?
My older sister, grandparents, and just Ash and you for now. Maybe I think I should tell Rebecca too, but...
But not right now?
Yeah, not right now. When I'm ready. Like today.
I'm sure she'll be willing to hear you out once you do.
I don't doubt she will. I'm more afraid of how she'll react after. One step at a time, yeah? Whew! Surprisingly, it feels good to get that one out my chest. I was a little afraid you'd be angrier. I didn't tell you earlier than today.
I'm not angry. I'm just surprised. You didn't look like it. I wouldn't have suspected. I suppose that's how it often is, isn't it? We all have our... what's the word Becca uses? Inner demons? But this is something personal to you. I understand why you'd rather have a few people know.
That too. Well, these past few weeks haven't been easy for you. I didn't want to add that. Not after last night.
Something passes in her face, brief fleeting, and disappears right before I can recognize what it is.
You okay?
Yep, no worries. I'll be fine. Look, about last night... Never mind. This isn't a good time. But don't lose sleep over this, alright? What's important is you got what you want to say out. And if you need me, I'll be here.
She should be relieved. Her words are more than reassuring to my ears. There should be comfort in hearing these alone, and knowing I have another person to rely on if things ever get bad. But somehow I found myself worrying more for her instead. I'll make another attempt to get the story out of her if I can. But this is a dance I know all too well, and with her, I do forcing her to say something would yield any results. As much as I want to intimidate Ash, there's only so much I can ask that won't result in something a little over disastrous. At best, she'll stop talking to me until a week passes. At worst, and I'd rather not risk it, I've never seen her angry. Outright annoyed, maybe, and often distracted at Ash, but never furious. What do they say again about happy people when angered? Besides, it'd be unfair to her to build a little chat.
So, food then?
She seemed relieved at the brisk change of subject, as if it had been simply waiting for a cue all the time. Her stomach rumbles at the mention of food. Rather loudly, as a matter of fact.
Alrighty, Missy. We're going to get some chow now. Better be quick, though. Can't have your stomach starting a revolution on us here.
Don't make fun of me! I'm not that hungry! Maybe a little. I didn't think I'd end up skipping dinner last night.
And now we have one starved stomach protesting. Sorry it'll be nothing fancy, since I'm a little low on stocks. I should probably drop by the grocery store after the meeting this afternoon.
I can make a quick run for you if you want.
Nah, I've got enough to put together something nice here. Maybe. I could always improvise if we're missing an ingredient or two. It ain't like we're going for a Michelin 3-star status here. Also, didn't I say you're a guest? Is this a Filipino thing? Or just Rebecca rubbing off on you?
So the laughter that comes from her doesn't quite reach her eyes. Neither, the answer is neither. Because if she stays idle, she'll remember.
On second thought, I might need a little help slicing up the potatoes while I prep the ham. You up for that?
What? Do you think instant noodles are all I'm about? I'll have you know I can cook a mean paella with my eyes closed. All my siblings love it.
Sure you can. Come on. I think I know what we'll do with those spare ingredients.
Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Between us, the consistent clapping of the knife against the board and the muffled noise from the television are left running. Words have been surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual, we had moments like this before. Definitely unnerving with how things are now. I really wish someone else will come knocking at the door. As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice or keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. That has always been Isabella's or Rebecca's departure. Sometimes anxious, although most coming from his border on awkward and embarrassing. Speaking of the guy, he never did call back, and I'm willing to bet my entire yearly salary that he fell right back to sleep after that call. So, AJ?
Sorry, Bella, could you...
Yep, I got it. The potatoes are almost ready, by the way. I turned down the heat just in case. You might want to check on them, though. Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down. Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
Ash has already welcomed himself in when I take my eyes away from the oven. He's never been real keen with the notion of courtesies after he's warmed up to you, this guy. All 13 of my locks, he can attest to that. He's a good fellow, though. Maybe a tad bit standoffish at first glance, but he's trustworthy.
Don't you have work today?
I could ask the same of you. Hey, Z-Man.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man. It's getting old.
Sorry. I got caught with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my question.
Ah, my bad. Forgot to mention that. He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else. Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on the way.
Wait, we're going now?
He claps a hand on her arm and begins ushering her out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me as they pass. Isabella, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea. And sure enough, before they even cross the threshold, she puts a firm foot down, the force alone enough to halt them both and catch the taller man off guard. It would have made for a funny picture. The way Ash almost crashes into her and Isabella giving him an indignant pound over her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are in his face all at once. Two things that really increase it, if he can help it. A rare moment even for a small group. If only I had my camera with me then.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
If it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
But the food! It's Zach's cooking! Real delicious food that actually tastes like food. At least stay and have a bite. Please? Zach, help me here!
These two, whenever they are in the same room, sometimes it feels like herding a group of unruly kids instead of talking to two mature adults. One moment, they're engaging in a pleasant chit-chat, and the next, they're bickering over a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better, and I have an overreactive imagination, I said there's something going on. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. I might just be reading too much into things like always. I can already hear Ash's laughter if I so much as suggest such.
I don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really stay. I've already made enough food for all of us, and it'd be a waste. Why, I cooked up that special honey-glazed ham you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it, too.
Delvin Tummerdings. I shoot the two of them an apologetic look before sauntering over the kitchen, mittens in hand. The sweet smell of a glazed and salted tang of melted cheese wafts over the air as soon as I open the door and take out the two trays inside. The scent immediately filled the room, and even with the door and windows open, the mouth-watering aroma lingers. appears enough that when I put the dishes down against another third stomach protests loudly, followed by a burst of laughter. My head snaps up the two of them, and I can't keep a smile at the sight they make. Isabella clinging to the door frame for support, doubled over with breathless laughter. Ash is the more composed of the two. Tried to look unconcerned, but a flush had crept out his neck and cheeks. It's clear whose stomach it came from. And Isabel not going to let him look at film.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
I wasn't rejecting anything. Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Aw, he's flustered.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach suddenly rumbling like a starved.
Aye, kiddos, play nice. Food's gonna get cold if we keep this up. Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
A hearty meal, let's go. Have lunch this afternoon, Isabel. Eventually settled down after the food had been served. Guides replaced by another round of friendly chatter, mostly after what's on the news the night before. This is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what is currently on the headlines. The dead is never a good topic to talk over food in polite company. This case in particular. The wounds are too fresh too soon. I'd likely avoid it as well if I were in her position, as someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like that. Though perhaps the closest we got to broaching that topic is when the infamous mansion is brought up again. But even then we are careful, Ash and I. We keep the conversation light and avoid bringing up her late business partner. It's the least we could do.
The Wrights? Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned. It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
Oh, now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry, I was a little out of it yesterday. Was it the photo shoot?
Yep, it's actually for the one you sold. Something. When you put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple. They can have those documents rushed at just a snap of their fingers. Then they're more influential than I initially thought. Man, I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
Your photographs are more than good enough, Zach. You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself. Ma'am Hana's easy to please, too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Easier said than done. Different clients have different tastes, after all.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah. They wanted everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but...
But it's still weird. Still weird, yeah?
A slip of the tongue. Still barely unnoticeable to someone who's already familiar with Ash's way, yet in this moment it's impossible to miss. Shoot him a curious glance, but he ignores it. Rather pointedly.
I can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all. As much as I want to comment on it, I only know what's on the surface, not the in and outs. It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office. If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
I guess that makes a whole lot of sense. Officially off our instant noodle diet, aren't we?
Ash, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup. That's a pretty picture.
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
What? How did you... Oh, come on, Zach.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
A one-time thing. and it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
Oh, sure. Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Hey, that was an accident.
You were making a salad, Ash.
Can we please move on to a different topic?
It helped the casual talk their harmless teasing. The mundane stories interesting enough to let the time pass unnoticed. By the time lunch ends, the shadows are no longer at forefront of my mind. If it's the same for Isabella, for whatever troubles her, I can never tell. These things, the anxiety, the fear, they ain't easily seen, ain't easily forgotten after all.
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach. I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she kicks the keys he tosses over, but he doesn't give her an answer and waits for her to go instead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you. See you later, Zach. Thanks for the food.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
You're welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
A grin is back on her face when she leaves and closes the door behind her. For a little while after we're left alone, Ash goes woolly quiet, listening, waiting for her remaining footsteps in the hall to fade. The earlier amusement had gone from his face, replaced by what I can only describe as trepidation. I know that look all too well. When he's like this, he's expecting shit a bit to go down at some point.
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple. I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
Okay. I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
Nan claps a comforting hand on my back and turns to leave without another word. He's never been good with those. More often he fumbles with what he wants to say, but his actions alone are enough to tell me how grateful he is for the trust. He reaches for the knob as soon as he gets to the door, but doesn't turn it. Instead he looks back and gestures with his hand towards the table. I don't need to follow his line of sight to know what he's going to ask about. He's like to take notice of it the moment he enters the room.
You back on those? I haven't seen you taking them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
You don't have to tell me. She already did. Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell. Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
Thanks. That's all I'm asking.
This time when he reaches the door, he lets it close fully behind him without glancing back. A mild draught switched into the room as I closed the door behind him, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mutant. Emigrant American H. Wright in 11 a.m. for luxury living. After actions warning, they all hold a different meaning now. October 27th, Thursday. In 2 days rush by in a blur, although moving quick and miss of work, suddenly piling up and new acquaintances of my friends. Depending on how you look at it, really. I'm gonna start streaming there though, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, stay safe, take care. Love you all.